Hey everybody, my name is Stephanie Ming and I am here on behalf of LegacyMovement.net. I'm here with Alphonzo Cross. Is that right?
Yes.
How are you, Alphonzo?
Good, thank you.
Good. So please introduce yourself. Tell the viewers what your entrepreneurship is about. I think it's Boxcar Grocer is
Correct.
what it is.
Correct.
Please, by all means, introduce it and yourself.
Well, my name is Alphonzo Cross. I'm one of the co-owners of the Boxcar Grocer. We are a natural market that specializes in retailing healthy and local food products here in Atlanta. We've been open now for a year. As a matter of fact, today is our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And it really is our main goal and our big interest to bring our food and to increase food accessibility in dense urban environments.
Okay. So you also have a previous firm, right? I think it's called Cross Creative.
Right, so basically the Boxcar Grocer was started by my sister and I.
Okay.
Her name is Alphonzo Cross, and her and I had started a creative firm back in California. Basically, we wanted to create, innovate, and manage our own projects and ideas. And the Boxcar Grocer was one of our first projects. It was our first big project that we really saw a need for a grocery store in the Castleberry Hill neighborhood here near downtown Atlanta. And we thought it would be really great to be able to do a grocery store, but then do something kind of creative, innovative, a little bit different, not your average run-of-the-mill kind of market.
Right.
So.
Well, you said you have a sister that you're working with. Can you give the viewers some advice about working with family? I know sometimes that can be, trial and error.
No, that's very true. I know there's a lot of wisdom out there that don't mix business and family. But my sister and I, we have a really great relationship. We're very close, and we had always wanted to work together. But we also have personalities, sensibilities, and skill sets that very much complement one another.
Okay.
So I would definitely say that for anybody who wanted to work with a family member, make sure that you're working with family members that do complement your behavior or personalities or sensibilities in such a way that you can actually forward your ideas, as opposed to, I think when some family members do go into business together, that things are very personal and things get very emotional and all that kind of stuff, and we made it very clear early on that it's just business, and we have a...
There's a line that you guys don't cross.
Yeah, we're able to kind of compartmentalize, and that's kind of nice. So, but it's also nice to work with somebody who you can actually trust and
Absolutely.
So.
Trust and loyalty there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's not going far.
No, even if she tries to kill me, then she'll definitely be as easy to find.
Exactly. So you also mentioned Castleberry Hill. And do you mind sharing with us a little bit of the economic development at the local level and why it's so important?
Well, Castleberry Hill is a really amazing neighborhood. It's very much a neighborhood that has gone through a certain amount of development, but then also kind of still has some ways to go as well. It is it's a small neighborhood just on the outskirts of downtown Atlanta. That's home to about 1,000 residents and over 70 different businesses. So again, a great neighborhood that, being part of an emerging neighborhood, is really interesting and kind of a unique position for an emerging business to be out of. It's very different going into a neighborhood like Midtown or Buckhead or Virginia Highlands, although Virginia Highlands is kind of on the tail end of its development. It's really gone through a lot. To be part of one of those neighborhoods means you're inserting them into an already established identity that is very firm and very rock solid, whereas to be an emerging neighborhood, there's a little bit more wiggle room there. Castleberry Hill's identity is still being determined. While it touts itself as an arts district, it really is a very creative neighborhood with lots of hair salons and restaurants and clothing boutiques and us as a grocery store, and a lot of, there's even film production going in there. So being part of a growing and currently developing neighborhood allows us the ability to kind of be part of the initial conversation on, what this neighborhood is and how it gets developed, and then how the neighborhood kind of views itself. So it's a very unique position to be in.
Gotcha. Given that you're a serial entrepreneur, so to say, Can you give us some of your pros and cons, your trials and tribulations, and are you still growing and learning? I'm sure you never stop doing that, but
Yeah, I don't think I know anything.
but I'm sure that's come to your project today. You know, Boxcar Grocer, your past has brought you to today. Can you explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I was a kid, I started out 14 years old cutting lawns. I walked around our subdivision and I knocked on doors and asked people, it was people who had the highest yards, and I would ask them if they wanted their lawns cut. And then even that here today, being an entrepreneur is really about just having guts. And I tell people that all the time. Listen, it doesn't require any sort of intelligence, it doesn't require any sort of, family pedigree. It just requires you to have a certain amount of ambition and guts to just say, I'm going to do something either A, completely different and rogue from what anybody else has done, or B, to just do something that I really love to do. And that's really what my sister and I decided to do. We really decided to kind of put the rubber to the road and really see if we can make this passion of ours really work. And it's great not working for other people. There's something to be said for not working for other people. Let me tell you, there's definitely something to be said about having a steady paycheck. So there's definitely something to be said for a certain amount of comfort and stability with working for someone else or a larger corporation. But the ability to make your own rules, to blaze new trails, to have some fun, to set your own boundaries and expectations is very interesting and a very wonderful place to be as an entrepreneur and as someone who's just likes to be as innovative and creative as possible.
Right, I love that. What's your long-term goals, with Boxcar Grocer?
That's a great question. Long-term goals. Our long-term goal really is to finally put an end to and eradicate on a very large scale food inaccessibility. Our very specific long-term goal is to have 200 stores across the U.S. within the next 10 to 15 years. That's at a rate of 5 stores per city, which is 40 cities across the U.S. to really start to put a nail in the coffin on food inaccessibility and again, urban environments not having access to proper grocery stores, proper groceries, fresh produce, local products, milk, toothpaste, butter, but then also tomatoes, vegetables. A lot of times the food inaccessibility conversation spends a lot of time talking about tomatoes and lettuce and onions, but we all know that I don't brush my teeth with tomatoes. I need toothpaste, I need to be able to get milk, I need to be able to get dog food for my dog, and so being able to go to a local grocer in dense urban environments is what is kind of lacking. So really that is our long-term goal, is to have these 200 stores across the U.S., which would allow us also some leverage to be in airports, to be in hotels, to be in malls, to be in places where a lot of us are used to saying, well, I'm going to the airport, I'm used to having crappy food because that's all that is available in the airport.
Yeah.
Why can't we change those conversations? Why can't airports have Boxcar Grocers in their airports? Why can't hotels have Boxcar Grocers in their hotels where you can get healthy sandwiches and healthy to-go snacks? So that really is some of our long-term goals. Nice.
So what, if somebody's watching this video right now and loves what you're doing, let's talk about a near-term goal. Can somebody help you? What's the perks of that? What can they do for you now?
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of requests for volunteers and whatnot right now, which is we're trying to understand how best to incorporate volunteers into our current store. One thing we're working on right now is dealing with funding on a local level with regards to some of the programs that we're putting in place, that we're using our current store, which is 3,000 square feet, as a beta testing ground for programs. So for example, we actually built retail space inside of our store. We actually built 6 different, we call them tracks because the store has a railroad theme.
Oh, okay.
And so we built 6 different tracks that vendors can actually rent and sell different kinds of prepared foods. We actually call this Pop Food, and it's our Pop Food incubator program, where it is a combination between a food court and a farmer's market. This incubator program really is our way of outreaching to the community, so that instead of really us coming in and saying we're going to be whatever we just want to be and you as the community just have to either love it or not love it. We decided to really be very open-handed about it, really provide some space for people in the community to grow products, grow their businesses. And so this program, this Pot Food Incubator program, also allows us to be able to have farmers markets inside of our store. So in the wintertime, when all the farmers markets shut down, we'd love to be the place where these vendors can come in and be in wonderful, warm conditions that other people can come into, rain or shine, and be able to get their products. And that program is a program where we are looking for funding and looking for assistance with getting that program off the ground. So.
Nice. I'm loving everything I'm hearing. I'm sure everybody that's listening is kind of like, man, why didn't I think of that? I like it. So for the future entrepreneurs, do you have any words of advice? Anybody watching wanting to do this business? I know you said it takes guts, but anything else?
I'd say as a piece of advice, I would really just say, whatever it is that you want to do, just do that. Just do that. People will always tell you, people told us that we couldn't get open. We had banks that told us that they wouldn't fund us because this wouldn't work. It's already working. They were wrong. So people are always going to tell you that you can't do something, that you shouldn't do something, that you don't know how to do something. We didn't know what we were doing with the Boxcar Grocer. There's a huge learning curve for us. We still don't know what we're doing half the time. But one thing that we do know is that we know where we want to go, and we know, in a sense, how we want to get there. It's just really taking those steps to get there. And I think that's for any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That if you want to make scarves and people are telling you don't make scarves, trust me, make scarves.
Right.
Just do whatever it is that is your passion. Do what you want to do and stay true to yourself, and you'll be just fine.
That initial thought of this project, was it with you and your sister together one day? Were y'all at a Starbucks having coffee, or was it a random phone conversation? How did this come up?
That's actually, I'll give you the short version of the story. The short version of the story, I was supposed to go to Europe one summer, back the summer of 2009, and by way of answering a lot of wrong questions at Customs Heathrow's Customs, I was sent back to the United States. It's a very long story. And so subsequently then I had subletted my apartment that summer, so then I was homeless for about 2 months. So I was living on my sister's couch, and during that summer of 2009, that's the summer that we came up with the idea for the Boxcar Grocer. We decided to really kind of, she had the idea, it's her idea to come up with this natural market. I wanted to do something really cool. If we were going to do something, it was going to be really cool. And so we really spent about 3 months just hashing out the name, the concept, the look, the whole 9 yards, all in one summer while I was couch surfing on my sister's couch.
Well, I just know that there's people watching this that has the same views. It's sitting on their couch right now, and they have ideas, they just don't know how to put them in order. So I love that you give people hope. Well, there you have it, guys. Again, I'm Stephanie. This is Alphonzo with Boxcar Grocer. And you can find this interview at legacymovement.net.